Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Revell, and here I'm going to feature the build of my 67 Camaro SS 396 car. This is the one I've been building on a channel, and it's finally complete, even after a few mishaps, but we'll get into that. But brand new for 1967 was the Camaro from Chevrolet, and it was designed to compete against the new pony car market that the Mustang had run off with to many people's surprise in 65 or 64 and a half if you want to call it that, but they're all technically 65 models even though they come out early, and Chevrolet didn't really have anything to compete against it, and they were pushing the market, and they came out with this mid-size car here, the F-Body, which shared its platform with the Pontiac Firebird and Trans Am for 69. The Trans Am didn't come out until 69, but it wasn't available in 67, but the Firebird was. And this car, it came out in many different variants, and there were many different options, and it gets a little confusing trying to research and see what came out. And some interesting things come out when I really start looking at options and what Chevrolet was doing at the time. But I really think Chevrolet hit a home run with the styling on this car. Really like the way it looks and the basic shape of it. And for me, I'm a fan of the Rally Sport package, which this particular build is not a Rally Sport, of course. But, you know, Revell does offer a Rally Sport version as well. It's the Nicky Camaro Rally Sport. I have that kit. I haven't built that one yet. But I really did enjoy building this one. But for Chevrolet in 67, they produced like 220,000 of these 67 Camaros. So they were a huge sales success. And it was also an international car, which I did not realize that at first. There were 2 plants in the United States. And there were actually 5 other plants producing Camaros outside of the United States. So it was an international car, but looking into some of those, I really didn't see any SS's or anything like that. They were all just your basic Camaro, and the Super Sport package was pretty much a US thing from my research, but I didn't really see much as far as production and options for the 67 Camaro, other than seeing that I think it was Brazil or something like that. They all came with 283 engines instead of the 327s. But when it came to the Camaros, the base engine was the 230 slant 6, and then it stepped right into multiple 327s. 307 wasn't available until 69, but 327, so multiple 327s, and even the 396, which is what this is, wasn't available initially, but the SS package came out pretty quickly, and that was the only way you can get the 350 engine in 67. Actually, I think the 350, this is its first appearance in any Chevrolet, you know, with most of the standard engines being the 327. And then the Super Sport package came with that, and then later they added the 396 to the lineup. It wasn't initially available. Another thing they added to the lineup that I thought was interesting was they came with a power glide transmission or a 3-speed manual or 4-speed manual at first. The Turbo 350 didn't come out till like mid-year, and same thing with the Turbo 400. The Turbo 400 became available when the 396s became available in the Camaro. The 3-speed automatics were not initially available in the Camaro. So I found that quite interesting as well. And the 396, they offered the 325 horsepower version and the 375 horsepower version, which I like to do the loaded one. So this one comes with the 375 horsepower decals, so I did it as that engine, of course. And the 396, though, what I thought was quite interesting reading about different options and variables and what Chevrolet was doing was I found it kind of odd that while this one you can get the 2 396s, the 350 horsepower version was not available in the Camaro. It was initially the 325 and then the 375 horsepower solid lifter variant, but not the 350 horsepower. Then I read somewhere else that the L78, the 375 horsepower 396, it was heavily available in the 66 Chevelle with a number of them being made, but not really available in the 67 Chevelle SS 396. Most of the 67s were either 325 or 350 horsepower, but I did read that 612 67 Chevelle SS's got the 375 horsepower 350, but one place I was reading mentioned that some of those were dealer swapped, and others, another site was talking about how it was initially available, and then that option was canceled when it became available in the Camaro. So maybe the early part of 67 you can get the 375 horsepower version, but not right away in the Camaro. But when it became available, it was no longer available in the Chevelle because they didn't want the two engines to compete, which kind of interesting that they would do that. But and I was wondering about the dealer swapped engines as well, because you know, Yanko and Baldwin Motion. Well, Baldwin Motion really wasn't around in 67. That didn't come out till a little bit later. They were just barely getting started. So I don't know if they did any 427 swaps in Camaros. You know, the engine swapping started to happen because it was so limited in the Chevelle. I guess that were some of the first swaps. And even 66 Chevelles getting the 427, reading about some of those engine swaps. So it's kind of fun reading about that. But it wasn't readily available or as widely done as it was when 69 came around. So it's kind of fun reading about some of those things. And then with the many different options, the SS, the Rally Sport package being just a trim package, but the Rally Sport package was available on any of the ones. So you can get a Rally Sport SS, a Rally Sport Z28, or just a plain old Rally Sport where you can get a Camaro with the Rally Sport option. So even inline 6 Rally Sports were available. Only in hardtop or convertible. No other real body styles for this one. And all 67s have these vent windows. So that's one way to determine a 67, plus no marker lights on the body panels on the sides. So 67s, that's kind of distinctive. But and then round lights up here, and 68s have square ones. So there's a number of differences. And something I read on this particular kit, I start to get into the Revell kit, which I did enjoy building this. I really did, even though I had some paint issues, which were my fault, probably. Wasn't really sure what happened with this one. This one didn't quite dry right, and then I put the clear on it. I don't think the paint mixed right on my part, or I had something going on with the paint. I really don't know what happened, but it really didn't want to dry from the batch I had. And so I had to strip it and restart over, but I was forcing myself on, had the decals on, so I had to source out some new decals. So thank you to all of you viewers that watched those videos and offered up decals. I really appreciate that. That was awesome. And I've kind of come to learn that if I'm looking for something, kind of gently ask or whatnot, because the support came out of the woodwork, and I was deeply honored by that. But Frank Steffens really helped me out by providing me the decals. And I couldn't stop him either, because he already had my address and sent me some other parts previously. And he was sending them, so I put the word out. Please don't send. I think I got a set coming at the time, and they did arrive and came out beautifully. And he also provided me photo etched emblems and stuff. I didn't use any of them on this. I just went with all the decals and tried to keep this thing box stock. I'm trying to think if I actually did any changes or upgrades to it, and I don't think I did. I left this one alone, revisiting. And then the big block cars all had the blacked out tail panel. So blacked that out and put the decals on the back. And this thing pretty much went together really well. Pretty good engineered kit. And there's a few hints here and there, the way it's made, that I really think that Revell had thought ahead, and there's probably a 68 variant somewhere down the pipeline, who knows when, because a lot of the 67 specific parts are not on the body. The emblems, the marker lights, they're all pretty much decals. And I went with butternut yellow with this one, which I like that color. Let's not knock the front license plate off. And I actually used the decals for the red lines, gave them a try, and they went on there and stuck on there really well. There's all kinds of little decals all over this thing, even the keyhole right there. But I put them all on there, foiled all of this, all around the windows. And the underside came out really nice too. I didn't change or modify anything. I forgot to paint some of the steel brake lines and fuel lines that are actually molded in. Kind of left that alone. The sway bar, the mounts, the standoffs are not there, but once you get it assembled, you really don't notice. It's got the 12 bolt in it. And I really don't think this rear sway bar should be on the SS. I think it was only a Z28 option, but I'm just trying to remember. And I remember mono leaves but further reading was telling me that the multi-lease were on SS and 12-bolt cars, which are mostly SS, and mono-lease were on lesser powered cars. That was one of the things they did to tweak the suspension, and got the manual tranny there. And some of them I remember reading that there should be a shock here, but that may be a Z28 thing only. Z28s are really rare. I've covered that already because I have a Z28 that I had built, but I really enjoyed building this. And I hear a number of people saying that they forgot some of the moldings on the grill. I don't think that they forgot them. I think that they're very faint, because you can see there's a chrome lip right on the very edge right there, and when the light hits it just right, you can see it. And the trick is not painting that, and getting the paint on the grill area and not getting it on that is kind of difficult. So it kind of hides it, so I can kind of understand why some people say that, but I see it there, and if you don't get paint on it, it stands out. But if you do get paint on it, it makes it harder for that to show up. There's a lot of nice detail things in here that I had seen. Again, I think it's kind of funny that it doesn't have radiator hoses. Really should. But the alternator has a bracket, which I think is really nice, but the alternator's on the wrong side. I understand 69 Camaros would have it on this side, 67 and 68 should have it on the other side. Or 67 should have it on the other side, 68 is a little more over here up top. But there were some variants and differences, but notice that. It's got a nice steering box, brakes, a lot of some really nice details in these braces, which are pretty cool that they're included in everything. Kind of tough to get them to glue down in place, but worked out really well. And got the interior detail pretty nice. I showed you a lot of that, but really happy with the way this one came out. Even though it was starting to get a little tough and a little long in the tooth, because I was having so many challenges with just paint work in general on actually now 3 cars where I had issues with paint, but that was me, but they're all kind of different. But figured you would enjoy this, and for being just about out of the box, I can't think of anything I actually changed on it. Just built it and enjoyed it. It came out nice. I'm really happy with it. Even the separate door handles and the separate trim, just getting it all on there and getting everything in there just came out really nice, and I'm really happy with it. So I'll move on to another one. I think I'm gonna pick another one to do kind of box stock and enjoy, along with another one of my stalled projects. So I got a few new ones that I'll be starting up here real soon. But thanks you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments and all your support. Really appreciate it. I'm very passionate about my model cars and really love building them and sharing them with you guys. And so the comments and everything, I just love those. So thank you, and you guys, you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Saturday.